On this episode of Certified Closers, we have Emmanuel closing on a $37,000 deal within 30 days. 30 days is all it takes to change your life. Now, as the viewer, I want to ask you a personal question. Are you working in a career that you no longer enjoy? Next Monday, think about next Monday. Do you have to clock in to a 9 to 5 that you absolutely despise? It barely pays the bills. It takes all the time away from your loved ones. And it kind of just strips you from what you actually want to do, your passions, your life's purpose. Okay, we get it. You hate your job, right? Now, let's play with our imagination just a little bit, right? Imagine you put your back against the wall. Imagine you got uncomfortable. Imagine you placed a bet on yourself to make sure wholesale real estate works the year of 2025. Now, it is a fact that 100% of you guys have what it takes to change your life in the next 6 months. Do you have a phone? Do you have a laptop? Do you know how to talk to people? Perfect. Then you have the capability of changing your life in this business. But only 20% of you guys actually will. And in fact, I think that's too high. More like 10% of you guys will actually change your life, because the other 90% is going to let fear, procrastination, distractions, other people's opinions hold them back from moving forward in life. And you know what? It's okay, because we need people like you. We need people to be working in the jobs. That's how society runs. We need people in the rat race. Financial freedom wouldn't be fun if everybody had it, all right? We need somebody to make the Chipotle bowls. We need people, electricians or whatever, to work on our house. Now, you don't have to play into that rat race, but you're deciding to whenever you don't place the bets on yourself. For the small percentage of people who don't want their 2025 to look like their 2024, this video is for you. Emmanuel came to me last year as a dropshipper. He was not only a dropshipper, but also a coach within the dropshipping space. He wasn't fulfilled with his career. It wasn't helping him hit his financial goals. It was holding him back from the life that he wanted to live. Me and Emmanuel had got on a one-on-one Zoom call, the same call you have access to in the first link in the description, and he told me he wanted to take back control of his life. And that's exactly what he did. Within 30 days of working with me and my team, applying action, and going all in on his wholesale journey, he was able to close on a damn near $40,000 wholesale deal, $37,000 to be exact. That is a Panda Express manager's whole year's salary on just one deal, just one. And my only goal by the end of this video is to show you that it's possible, that normal people just like you are closing on multiple 5-figure deals with our digital real estate blueprint. And no, I have nothing to sell you. I simply just want to show you that with the system I spent the last 4 years creating, people are changing their lives every single day. Now to E, I know you've had some trials and tribulations throughout the whole entire journey. You guys are about to hear about him. His journey was wild. He almost gave up, but he kept going. With that being said, E, let me be the first to tell you, I'm proud of you. I know you almost gave up, but you kept going and it paid off. Make 2025 one of the best years of your life, brother. And you have the entire blueprint to do it.
In comes on Instagram your video where now I was listening to what you were saying about wholesaling and stuff, but what struck me was the way you're able to get on the phone with these sellers. Like that really was what attracted me. I was like, oh man, this is what I need. I need to figure out how is he getting in front of these leads. As soon as she said selling her mom's home, that's when I just kicked in. I was just like, what? Your mom's home? Hold on one second. Put up the script. And I literally just pivoted. I locked her straight in. I got her down to 150 and then I just asked her the magical question, is that the least you'll take? Send her the PSA. She didn't sign for 3 days.
Even if we get the contract from the seller, even if we get the contract from the buyer, we still gotta close. The job is not done until we get a wire to our bank account.
And then he was like, well, you know what? I'll come up 42. So he came up another 2K and that was enough for me because it was just a mental, battle to win. Even if you'd have said, I'll come up $500, I would have been like, okay, cool.
You took literally something that was nothing and turned it into gold. And eventually you get to the closing table, more stuff pops up. Welcome to real estate, everybody. That's just how real estate goes. Yo,
what's going on, bro?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, yeah.
How you feeling right now?
Feeling good, bro. I mean, got that first HUD in the bag. So I'm actually waiting for the lady at Tile to email me that HUD so I could, have my first badger stamp of approval to say, yeah, I've done my first real estate deal.
Bro, I'm proud of you, bro. There's a lot I want to go over on this call. I got so many questions for you. I want to go ahead and get it started in terms of your beginning. Now, I know your background is e-com, right?
Right.
Now, a lot of people are a little confused right now. They're like, hold on, how did you come across the wholesaling, right? I want to kind of shortcut towards the end of your e-com journey.
Okay.
And what made you want to make that transition from e-com to wholesale?
Well, it was really real estate. So I've always heard, like, you know, I listen to like a lot of the YouTube guys, and you know, I'm always hearing real estate this, real estate that. You know, most of the millionaires are made through real estate, and it's a great hedge, and it's always secular. You know, it's always going up, like, you know, trending upwards. You know, and market might correct stuff and so forth. So I've always had it in the back of my mind, like at some point I want to do some real estate. I just don't know what area, because everyone's talking, you know, single family homes, multifamily, wholesaling, commercial. There's all different avenues to it. So I wasn't too sure where. But 2019, I had the first, like, okay, I think it's time for me to make that jump. So I tried surplus funds. Surplus funds are overages. Basically, whenever, you know, a house is foreclosed and it goes to auction, let's say the bank is owed 50K and it goes to auction, and someone comes in the auction and bids 100K and they win, right? The bank only takes the 50K because that's what they're entitled to. That's how much they're owed. The other 50K sits in an account with the state for a particular period of time. And while it sits in that account, the state is generating interest money from it. So and they get to keep that, right? They don't really do a good job of letting the previous homeowner know that, hey, we got 50K of your money, come pick it up, right? And it's not a simple process. It's just showing up to the state and say, hey, that's my money. Even though it is on paper and everything, there is actually a process. You have to get an attorney involved to file certain documentation for them to release that money, right? As individuals, we can go to the state, wherever you are in the United States, go to your local county and ask for the surplus funds or overage list. They'll give you a list of all the people who, and the amounts that they owed. Then you take that information, you go and skip trace it, get the phone numbers and call them up. And then you got to obviously like let them know, like, hey, listen, there's some money here. And, you know, if you weren't aware of it, I'm letting you know now. I can claim it for you. You ain't got to do nothing, but you'd have to agree to give me 30% if I'm successful. So it's not going to cost you anything up front. I'm going to go to bat for you, but you need to give me. So I did that for about 4 or 5 months, and it was tough. It was tough, man, trying to get people to sign that PSA. And so I left that alone. Then I tried fixing and flipping. I'm not going to say what his name was, but he's a coach. He's in the space. He's a good guy. I mean, he knows his stuff. But what I didn't know was, you know, like, it's the same when you look at, you know, boxers in the ring. Like, from outside, it looks a certain way. You're thinking the other guy is kind of slow, or you don't have to throw punches or whatever. But when you're in the ring, you then realize, like, oh my God, this guy is really quick. He's got good footwork. He's got inches. He's got good defense and everything. So it looks different when you're on the inside actually doing it. The basis of the fixing and flipping is you get hard money from the hard money lender, and they take first lien position. Then you get a junior lien holder to come in that second position to cover any other expenses, basically. So technically, you're not using any money out of your pocket, but you still need that second junior lien holder to come in. Now, I found 3 really good deals, but could not secure that junior lien holder to come in. Lost my EMD money 3 times, so I'm out $3,000. It's $1,000 each time for EMD money. So I'm out $3,000. So then I was like, you know what? I can't keep doing this. I got to reframe and restructure this strategy. So I stepped back again. Right. And I'm just looking, observing, seeing what's going on. In comes on Instagram your video where you're talking about wholesaling and stuff. Now, I was listening to what you were saying about wholesaling and stuff, but what struck me was the way you're able to get on the phone with these sellers. Like, that really was what attracted me. I was like, oh man, this is what I need. I need to figure out how is he getting in front of these leads, and then just take what I've learned over here from the creative financing and fuse it into that. So that was my process behind it. So that's when I reached out to you, and then we had a discussion, and, you know, we got to this point.
From our first call all the way to you closing a deal, your first deal, by the way, a lot happened, right?
Yeah.
So you were ready to take action. You were ready to go.
Right.
We had some misfortunes happen. Explain what kind of happened on your journey to starting wholesale, right at the beginning of your journey.
Basically, my ex, she had some medical issues. We went into ER emergency, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her, and it just threw everything upside down, because at that point I was like literally ready to commit and join the group. And then, you know, that happened. And then now, like, there was uncertainty, and then I didn't know how much this was going to cost to, like, because she had insurance and everything, but it's still, you know, like there's bills that's going to come from that. And plus I'm actually paying like 85% of the bills here at the house. So that just threw everything underneath the bus, and I had to kind of like pause for a minute and not do anything, kind of trying to figure that out. And then whilst I was going through that, I had another client, an e-commerce client, come through, and I did my pitch and everything to close him. She said she couldn't afford it. And as she was saying she couldn't afford it, I was just listening to her. She was just like, I really want this and X, Y, and Z. But at this moment in time, I can't do it right now because I can't afford it. However, I'm thinking about selling my mom's home. And, you know, I'm going to be selling it very soon. As soon as she said selling her mom's home, that's when I just kicked in. I was just like, what? Your mom's home? Hold on one second. Put up the script for creative finance. And I literally just pivoted from my e-commerce script straight into that script. And yeah, man. And I locked her straight in on that. And the leverage is like, I'm gonna waive the fee for the e-commerce coaching in exchange for the property. She started pricing at 200,000. The comps in the area is like 240, 255, 269. There was that's the highest point. 269 is the highest point. You know, we started the negotiation. She wanted 200K. I never gave her a price, not one time. And you actually say that, never say a price too, or you don't be the first one to say a price, but I never said a price anyway. I got her down to 150. And then I just asked her the magical question, is that the least you would take? And then she thought about it. And then she was like, well, I could do 130, but that's only because basically I know what you can bring to the table for me in terms of the training and stuff. And I was just like, okay, we'll stop there. Sent her the PSA. And then she didn't sign. She didn't sign for 3 days. So it was a constant follow-up. Like, so the first day, I waited the whole day. I'm checking the email, refresh. Nothing from DocuSign coming in. So I called her up. She had questions. So I answered those questions. And then she was like, okay, cool, no worries. I'll get it done. The next day, same thing again. Waited the whole day to the evening when she gets off work. Still hasn't signed it. Called her up again. She had another bunch of different questions. We went over it. It took 3 days back and forth of this until she eventually did sign. And then once she signed, then I got an inspection report done. The inspection report came back pretty good. There was nothing major wrong with the property except for the roof. The roof was questionable. So my whole goal was to fix and flip, just to, you know, borrow some hard money, you know, I did my estimates. I'll probably only spend like 25 into it, and then try and dispo at 240 minimum. And then my take would have been like, calculators, somewhere around 70,000 after paying, because my hard money was like, they were looking at like 9%. They were going to give me to borrow, you know, 9% on the money, cash on cash. So yeah, so basically what happened was I got 2 contractors to go in there and give me some estimates. One of them came back and was like, dude, I really like this. Like, I'll be willing to put in a bid too. I was like, really? They were like, yeah. So then they hit me. They said that they saw like a little spine in the middle. And that risk would have thrown all of my numbers off if I had to replace the roof, you know, somewhere between 12 and 15,000 just to replace that roof in that area for the quality and everything. So that kind of made it a little bit risky for me to do the fix and flip. So when this contractor came in and was like, we were bartering, we were going back and forth, you know. Funny enough, so as he hit me with like, okay, so what do you need? And he hit me with 30,000 out the gate, as in he would pay it a little bit over, and my assignment fee would be 30K. I didn't budge. I didn't even like flinch about it. I was just like, okay. I mean,
when you say contractor, do you mean buyer, or who is exactly walking the property and making these offers to you?
He was a contractor.
He was a contractor. Okay, so the contractor was just like, you were going into it for a fix and flip. He was like, no, I want to go ahead and just buy it from you.
He was actually a contractor that was going to go in there and give me his estimates on fixing it. Yeah, so I gave him the comps, and I said, hey, I just want to look. So I want to get the inside looking somewhere close to this, you know, like, so new flooring, new paint, inside paint. We're gonna update the kitchen just a little bit, not too, you know, fancy on anything like that, because the kitchen was pretty old. So he would go in there, he did his estimates, and then as he come back to me with the estimates, that's when he hit me with, oh, I'd be interested in buying. I was like, really? Okay. So, you know, I was open. I was like, okay, so, you know, where do you want to start off? And then he calculated it. He was like, well, I could give you, you know, what would you need? What would be your assignment? And then he started off at 30,000. And I didn't accept that. I was just like, okay, well, you know, I'll think about it. And then he bumped it up another 5K. It was like 35. And then he hit me with the most he'll do is 40. So before I got off the call with him, he went up by 10K. And that's when I knew I had him. You know, I was really putting the squeeze on him there. So this is how it went. Then literally the next day I called him back and I told him I'd be happy with 45. Right. And then he said no. He said, no, I can't go more than 40, this and that. And I was just like, oh, okay, all right, well, you know, I'll get back to you. You know, we had a conversation about it, you know, in terms of like what I would be giving up. Because technically, if I did the flip based on the numbers, I'm literally letting go of 27K extra on top. That's generally what I would have made, calculating how much I'd have to pay the hard money back and what price I could exit at. So, and he knew it. He knew like, oh yeah, that's possible. But you know, as long as nothing else goes wrong, then you know you could be getting that. But that's not going to be instant. You still have to sell it. You still have to take that time to find a buyer and everything. So then the next day he called me. Now it's always a great thing when someone calls you for the deal, because now they're kind of like indicating to you that, you know, I've got the stick.
Yeah.
I've got a stick and you want this stick. So
where exactly did you find this buyer or the contractor? Just looking for contractors?
You know, the funny thing is, so the fix and flipping training that I did, I'm still in the groups. So I went in the groups and they've got like in the Discord, they've got like lists of all the contractors that have been vetted by students that are in the group that have been doing deals.
Yeah.
So I just pulled that list and started calling people. So it was, you know, I paid $7,500 for that training. I paid $7,500 for that training. I lost my EMD money. So I lost 3K, but at some point I knew some information there was going to help me at some point. And that's when it came into play.
So you're battling with the contractor. You give him you say, hey, this is the number I want. He accepts that offer. He calls you back.
He didn't accept it. He didn't accept it.
So what happened after that? Whenever you gave him that offer, and he called you back.
So he called me back the next day in the morning, and he was just like, yeah, like, you know, trying to like see where I was at. Like he wanted that property bad. So then I said to him, like, look, man, you know, I want to do business with you, and you know, this will be the first time, and we could, you know, set something up down the line as well, because he was letting me know that he buys a lot, so he's got liquid, you know, available to buy, especially in Atlanta. That's his area. And then so I just said to him, like, look, I mean, just come meet me halfway, man. You know, meet me halfway, and you know, I'll sign that PSA and I'll send it to you like right now and within the next hour and stuff. And then he was like, well, you know what, I'll come up 42. So he came up another 2K, and that was enough for me, because it was just a mental, you know, battle to win. It was, even if he'd have said I'll come up $500, I'd have been like, okay, cool, you got it. But he came up an extra 2K, and I'm glad that I fought for that extra 2K. You know why? Because once you got to the closing table, so we were supposed to close on Friday last week. Remember, I told you the date was Friday, but it never, because they asked for her mom's death certificate, which she provided. But when they looked at the title and everything, her granddad's name was on the title. So they needed his death certificate too. And she never provided that. And the place where she could get the document from, it would take 2 to 7 business days for them to send it. Or she could go directly into the building that has that information and get it in the morning. So that stalled things a little bit. So then come Monday, so he was using a lender to pay it. So he was using finance on his side, and they were waiting for the approval letter from them. And then yesterday was like the bottom final. And then they realized that, hold on, there's $4,800 owed on taxes. Yeah. So she wasn't budging. She was like, they were saying, hey, they're going to take that $4,800 from her, $130K basically. And then she was just like, no, that's a deal breaker. It's 130 and that's it. I'm not giving up any ground. So then I was like, oh shit, I should have negotiated that. So then I hit up, I told the buyer that there was a little bit on back taxes. You know, I knew it was like 4K. I didn't know exactly the number, but it was like 4,800 or some change. And then he hit me and was just like, well, nah, you got what you wanted. You wanted 42. That's what I gave you. And I'm definitely not paying that. So then I was just like, okay, I guess I'll just take the hit. So I took it, and you know, they sent me the amendment document, signed it. I paid that 4,800. So I got 37,160 and 2 cents. So you know,
let's round it all back.
Still a win, bro.
Bro, a win. That's your first deal. Congrats, right? Let's take it all back. So you were working as a security. You're working as security, right? You knew there was a better way. You got an e-com. You did that for about 4 months, testing different products. Nothing was working, right? Mm-hmm. You finally found something that worked. You were doing e-com and still had a security gig at the same time. Finally was just like, look, I'm trying to get to financial freedom. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to bet on me. I'm going to go all in with e-com. E-com
Right.
pops off, but you knew that real estate was the end goal. Eventually, you were doing your e-com journey. You were making a lot of money, but real estate was the end goal because you wanted basically generational wealth.
Right.
Started off with surplus funds. You're like, yo, this takes too long. Turnaround period is just not it. We get in the fix and flip, and we pay $7,500 for a course. Then we lose $3K on EMD. You're just like, look, I need to find something. You see this pretty face come up on your screen. All right. Wait, first, no, you did sub two, you did creative financing. You saw me come up on your screen. You get into wholesaling, you're learning, okay, how do I get in front of leads? I'm just going to use this creative finance and then get in front of the leads to close them, right?
Right.
We hop on a call. We were ready to get you started. Bad things hit, right? You were ready to hop in. Ex-girlfriend has medical issues. You reached out to me. You're like, yo, bro, I need help. And do you remember what I told you?
Yes, I remember exactly what you told me. You told me that, I should basically just burn the bridges and go all in. Like, now is the best time to do it. Don't worry about anything else. Just go for it. Yeah, you gave me the encouragement to, like, I mean, anyone else probably would have been like, oh man, sorry about what's going on and trying to comfort me. But nah, you were just like, go all the way in, go make it happen. You got to make it happen now.
There was one line that you were like, yo, bro, I need help. Da, 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 da. I made sure to give you some encouragement, but there was one line that I wanted to really stick with everybody in this call. As entrepreneurs, we do not, in any type of situation we come through, keep this mindset. We sell our way out of any situation, right? He was going through a whole bunch of shit in life, right? He had texted it to me, told me everything was going through. And I said, yo, bro, we are going to sell our way out of this situation. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're going through a divorce. I don't care if you're going through a court battle. I don't care if you're going through some super bad debt. We do not give up. We sell our way out of the situation. You keep going. You hop on a call with a client who's there for e-com, right? And you put on your investor hat, you heard real estate, you put yourself out there, you had that conversation, and you turned them into a lead. You took literally something that was nothing and turned it into gold, right? You could have easily just said, hey, no problem, go on about your day. Sell your mom's house, come back.
Yeah.
Right? But you saw the opportunity cost, right? And you said, let me just at least take it. Let me see what happens. I'm already going through all of this. Obviously, I'm going through this for a reason. You passed the test. You were tested to see if all the financial freedom that you wanted was, if you were worthy of it. You passed the test. You took the opportunity. You put yourself in a position to understand what wholesaling is. You get this person under contract. You build rapport with them. And then eventually you were trying to do a fix and flip, but you were just like, you know what? The contractor makes an offer. You're just like, you know what? I could sell it for a wholesale deal. You could sell it for an assignment fee. You had it under contract for $42,000 after a bunch of negotiation. Buyer's trying to get over on you. You're like, no, I can make more if I just fix and flip it myself. Buyer comes to his senses, understand what a good deal is, says I'll do it the $42,000. But guess what? Job's not finished. Because even if we get that thing under the contract, even if we get the contract from the seller, even if we get the contract from the buyer, we still gotta close. Yeah. So the job is not done until we get a wire to our bank account. And eventually you get to the closing table, more stuff pops up. Welcome to real estate, everybody. That's just how real estate goes. It's like when you think everything's about to go good, no, something's going to happen, but it's going to train you mentally to get through it. Real estate is not for the weak. Anybody who's weak-minded, you got to go do Amazon FBA or stock trading or something like that. I don't know. But real estate is not for the weak. And then on your first deal, it finally closes after a whole bunch of title issues. You take the hit. You close on your first wholesale deal for $37,000.
Yes, sir.
Bro, how do you feel?
Well, I didn't think it was real until the wire came in, man. Once the wire came in, I was just like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Now, and that seemed, there's a lot of fear behind it, just considering it at the start. But I knew I had a deal once I got her under contract. I got her under contract at 130,000 and she started at 200,000. So I knew I had a deal. It was just a question of what would I be willing to accept.
What are some lessons you learned from closing on your first deal at $37,000?
The sellers, they're going to have cold feet. I mean, there was multiple times where she would like break out and start acting a little bit crazy. And I was just like, she'd be like, oh man, you lied to me. You told me that you was going to buy this house. And I think it's the emotions connected to the house. Like, you know, it's her mom's house and she's got memories there. So because initially when I told her that, you know, like, hey, I'm trying to fix it and flip it, that's what she had in her mind. And then all of a sudden there's this new buyer coming along and it's like, oh, you're selling it on to this person. And she kind of, you know, there was that kind of like vibe of emotions of betrayal. So I had to just kind of like walk her through the, you know, like I just talked to her like I just straight up to her. I said, listen, I'm not going to lie about anything. I'm going to tell you what it is. But you already told me your situation, because I know a little bit more about her background. Like, you know, she's a travel nurse. She's out of funds right now. The debts have piled up. So she needs money. Like she needed that money. That cash injection definitely helped her. Huge. You know, so I turned around initially as I'm the guy saying I'm the buyer, even though, you know, technically I was actually going to just borrow hard money to secure it anyway. The situation comes where, you know, the roofing, there's stuff going on with the roof and I'm not too sure. And that's going to mess around with my numbers. And therefore I could just back out. And I told her straight up, listen, I don't want to buy a house if you don't want to sell it. You know, saying those words to her, even though I did want to buy it, obviously, but I said those words to her and that kind of like made her throw off for a little bit like, okay, you're not just trying to take something from me. And then, you know, like it relaxed her a little bit. So letting her know that, listen, I'm not trying to buy a house if you don't want to sell it. But I remember you telling me about your situation and how, you know, money is right now for you. So I'm trying to solve the situation for you. Because one, if we just cancel this deal, then you're not going to get the e-com training that you wanted to, because I'm still going to deliver that to you. That's one thing. Secondly, you need some cash right now. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, what other situation can I create where you get that 130K at the closing table, which is what I want you to get, you know? So I found someone who's willing to pay for that. And then as I explained that to her like that, because from outside, it looked different to her. It looked like, hey, I told you one thing. Now all of a sudden, this other person's coming in to buy it, and then now it's like you lied. So basically, once I explained that to her, she relaxed, she calmed down, and then she was cool, you know. But then there was another time where she you know, kind of went off the rails again because of the tile company. They were asking her for, you know, personal information and stuff of that nature. And I said, well, this is what they do. This is, you know, this is part of the job of actually closing. They got to do their thing. Oh yeah, there's another issue. So there was another issue, major issue actually. She needed extra time. I told her I shouldn't have done that. And I've learned this now. Like, never ever tell the seller that, you know, you're going to give them time to get out the property, especially when you're wholesaling, because the other person coming in, yeah, I for some reason in my head, I was just like, don't worry about it. You know, you're going to have time to move your stuff, because basically furniture and certain things that were in the property that her husband couldn't physically do because he's got blood pressure and everything else. So she's not trying to let him do it. And then the people that she could get hold of to do it were very specific about when they're available to come do it for her. So when I said that to her initially, for whatever reason, the buyer had people coming in to, you know, contractors looking at the property, and they kept saying stuff like, hey, we're going to be here on Friday to rip up all the flooring and, you know, hopefully all of this stuff is out here. So in her mind, she's obviously thinking like, oh my God, you lied. You said that I had time to get the stuff out. I'm not going to be able to get him back into the property. Then her sister got in her ear saying that, hey, if it closes on Friday and you're still in the property, or you're trying to get back in the property, you're going to be trespassing. You can get arrested. So now that's just threw a spanner in the works and everything was going crazy. So to solve the solution, all I did was do a three-way call, because up until that point, the buyer and the seller didn't really speak to each other. So I did a three-way, and I just let them know that, hey, listen, you know, she needs like an extra day to get some stuff out. And that's all she needed, is an extra day. And it was causing a lot of drama. So when he spoke to her, he just let her know, like, hey, if you got anything else that you need to pick up on Saturday, just put Post-it notes on it and let us know so you can come in and pick it up, you know, and then obviously make a copy of the key. We have access to the property. And then, you know, you can come in on a Saturday and pick up the remaining stuff, because we're supposed to close on a Friday. So doing that three-way call diffused the situation from what I created by promising to her that, hey, you got extra time to move all this stuff. No, she didn't, because the buyer wanted to take control. As soon as it closes, obviously the buyer wants control of the property. And it didn't really dawn on me that I was saying these things and it was causing extra problems. So I diffused it by doing the three-way call. So that was huge. I learned a lot from that. And, you know, I definitely won't be repeating that mistake in future. Again, thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, now, shoot me a text. We need to get you locked in as well, and knowing what to do with those funds, bro, because I'm not letting you do text blasts. Other than that, I'll see y'all. Y'all have a great day, all right?